I definitely didn't cry while watching this movie. A Christmas Carol, the first one that came out in 1938, was directed by Edwin L. Marion and stars Reginald Owen as Ebenezer Scrooge, the grumpy old Scrooge who hates Christmas. If you watched the 2009 animated version of this movie, you will know that this movie takes a very similar approach. Of course, it's the predecessor of that movie. So technically, that movie takes a similar approach to this movie, in the sense that the story tells a tale of Ebenezer Scrooge, a grumpy old man who hates Christmas, and he goes through an entire night of seeing the ghosts of the past and ghosts of the present and ghosts of the future, and they all show him all his mistakes and what they've led to. The Ghost of Christmas Past shows him that he wasn't always so bitter, that he at some point in his life knew what happiness was and he was a joyful soul. The Ghost of Christmas Present shows him that all these terrible things that he's done to other people, how it's affected their lives. And in the movie, when you watch the movie, he actually fires one of his workers just because he threw a snowball at him. And this guy that he just fired is poor. He has a bunch of kids that he has to feed. One of his kids, his name is Tiny Tim. He is a cripple. He has a wife. But even though he's so downtrodden and so poor, he still finds joy in Christmas. And even though he can't find an expensive turkey to eat on Christmas, he finds joy in just bringing back a goose for them. And when the Ghost of Christmas Present brings him to see what he has done to his family and how he's affected them, he slowly starts to have a shift in character and a shift in behavior. But that's not where it ends. Right before he thinks that it's over, he is visited by the Ghost of Christmas Future that shows him that if he does not change his ways, that if he does not stop being bitter and cruel to the world, he will meet a sad end. Whenever I start recording for these movie reviews, all of a sudden, like 10-20 bikes will just come out of nowhere and just start riding here, riding there. Bapa bising, I tell you, seriously. Fast forward 20 minutes later for waiting because damn bikes are so freaking noisy. This movie tells a classic tale of family values that it really shows you that you need to appreciate what you have and be happy with what you have and be joyous in the season of what Christmas is. What really amazed me was actually the special effects in the movie. If you watch the 2009 version of this movie, you'll know that there's a scene where Ebenezer Scrooge is visited by his dead friend. In this movie, we have a similar effect of a transparent ghost. But this came out in 1938. How did they... How? I mean, they were still using film back then, so I get that maybe they could have overlapped the film and made one of it less opaque than the other. I'm not particularly sure how they shot it, but it's a great effect and it's done really well. It's also an effect that I think people should bring back today. I mean, like, watch all the horror movies that we see today. All the ghosts either look exactly like people or they just look like batshit demons. I mean, aren't the whole point of ghosts that they're supposed to be like from like the spiritual dimension so we can't really see them? Isn't that the point of it? So them being transparent would actually make sense. Don't know, it just seems like it makes sense. The acting overall is good. I mean, they do the typical 30s 40s thing where every actor just talks, oh no honey, I'm gonna be home soon, yeah, oh it's perfectly marvelous, you have the crumpets and the tea, you will rue the day that you challenged Ebenezer Scrooge, you know, like that. I'm not really sure what about this movie made it more impactful to me compared to the 2009 one, but it's definitely got to do with me being an adult now and finally being able to understand the deeper themes that exist in this movie. There's definitely an underlying tone of grimness that exists in this movie, of what could be and what you could be if you end up like Scrooge, if you allow, you know, the darkness and the sort of grimness of being alone get to you. So this Christmas, be happy and be joyful and share the Christmas spirit and don't be like Scrooge. I'm also going to be reviewing the other two Christmas carols. So there was one that came out in 1984 and the animated one that came out in 2009. A Christmas Carol is a very good movie that has very deep tones and themes that ring true no matter what year it is, whether it's 1938 or 1984 or 2009 or 2020, it rings true. I'll give Christmas Carol an A+. So A Christmas Carol, have you watched it? Have you only watched the 2009 one with Jim Carrey as Scrooge? Let me know what you think of the review and the movie. Leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what movie you think I should review next. Ciao.